you? Who told 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 you? You what? God design.
Good morning. What's going on, everyone?
Good morning,
Welcome
sir.
to a live impromptu episode. What's happening, Mr. Price? What's
What's
up,
going
Board
on, brother?
buddies? What's going on with my Boerboel family? What's happening? So today we got a very special episode. Today we're going to be interviewing Integrity Boerboels. Let me tell y'all a little bit what I do know, and he could tell y'all more. But if you did not know, this is a man of faith, a man of great honor, respect. Hence why he named his Boerboels kennel breeding operation Integrity. We're going to dive into it. He got a very interesting perspective. He's going to be giving us some deep insight. What's up, Mr. Price? How you feel?
I'm doing great, brother. And yourself?
Fantastic. I'm doing my best as always. You know, it's always trials and tribulations. You know how it go, but we steady dogging it. Trying to get there, trying to have something.
No doubt, man.
Got my
I'd like to tell you thank you very much uh, for allowing me to share on your platform. I give all honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man, who made these things possible for me with my dogs and everything. All the wonderful people that I've been meeting through my dogs, and it's just been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it really is amazing to me. Also, the people, man, the people you come around that you involve yourself with, you know, that's the relationship that we build. That's the biggest part of this for me. You know, that's been the most exciting and unanticipated part of the journey that I didn't really expect, but it's the most beautiful part, and you know, I'm very appreciative and thankful for it.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Price, tell us a little bit, you know, before we get off into your breeding program, your operation, tell us about your first dog, the first experience that you had with a dog.
My very first dog. Um, well, that's that go back to I was probably around 4 years old. It was actually my nana's
Oh, you're
dog.
breaking up a little bit.
How about now?
Mm-hmm.
Can you
You
hear
good
me?
now?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you good.
it was probably when I was about 4 years old. It was actually my nana's dog, and his name was Sheriff. Um, I remember the back then, you know, what kids loved to watch was westerns, like Gunsmoke and cowboys and Indians type stuff. So I always had a real big imagination. And one day the puppy was he was a dog. He wasn't a real big dog, but he was but I was a kind of chunky kid. But my nana was feeding the dog. He was in the kitchen eating and drinking water, and I ran through the house and just got finished watching Cowboys and Indians, and I ran through the house and I jumped on his back, um, and he hit the floor, and he never got up, and that that hurt me big time because I love that dog. Uh, but I knew I learned a lesson then. You can't jump on dogs, can't ride dogs. Kids have to be instructed that, you know what I'm saying? Because in a child's imagination, he doesn't see the harm that it will cause from jumping on dogs. Some dogs can't handle that weight of the child, you know. So, um, so families be mindful of that fact and try to share that with your children. Explain it to them that the he's not a horse. Can't ride him
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because
yeah.
it'll hurt him. But then after that, dog, I've had so many more, but that was the very first one I recall.
You say you was breaking up real bad there, Mr. Price.
I'm sorry, brother. What do I need to do to make it better?
I don't know. Is you by the Wi-Fi?
I am. Yeah,
You said what?
I am.
You by the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
Maybe you got to get a little
oh,
closer by the Wi-Fi.
okay. So, okay. Then if I can go inside and call you back, and
Yeah, you
or
can pop
how
out.
do
You
we
can
need to do
go
it?
inside and talk with us.
Okay.
Go ahead, and I'll talk a little bit, give the audience a little bit of background information, and I'll tell a little funny story how we our first time talking and interacting. You remember that, Mr. Price?
The
You,
first
you
time
remember
we
the first time I hit you up on Facebook? Well, the first time that I was introduced to Mr. Price was through the dog transportation company. One of my friends is a dog transporter. Well, a friend that I made a friend, and he happens to be a dog transporter. And he tells me, "Man, I got a great respect for this guy. His name is Roman
oh yeah.
Price with integrity." With integrity, Boerboels, he says, "Man, I don't. Nobody better not say nothing about him bad about Mr. Price." And I'm like, I can't believe I don't know who this is yet. So I look you up on Facebook, and I had sent you a message, and you hit me back, and you was like, "What's up, man? How do I know you? How do I know you?" And I'm like, "Man, what the heck is going on? I don't know you at all. I was looking to see the dogs." And you was telling me how you was like, how I'm like thinking to myself, man. So you said to me, you
Come on,
said,
puppy.
"Yeah, I've been catching a whole lot of static. I've been catching a whole lot of pushback. I got people on my case about this video and stuff." And I didn't understand what you was talking about. And then as I learned more about who you were and what you had going on, I was like, okay, now I see. Now I see. You know, so we could talk. That's a matter of fact, this is the man calling right now. Hold on, let's see. Maybe he's seeing us live. What's up, Cordell? We live on the air. What's happening?
Hey, what up, bro? We on three-way. Me and Desiree's on our way up to you right now.
Desiree on the way up here. Okay, I'm on the line. I'm on the live with Mr. Price, Roman Price. And I was just telling the story of how
What's up, Mr. Boss?
Mr. Price, I was telling the story how you told me about, you was vouching for Mr. Price and you had felt that he was a man of the cloth and he was highly I forget the
Man,
word
he's
that you said.
literally he's a dog man. Okay, he's a man of God, but he's a dog man. He a true-blooded dog man. You anybody looking for a real dog man? Roman Price, Integrity Kennels, dog man, certified, no games.
No games being
Vetted.
played. Hey, dog man to the max, to the fullest, to the complete
To the
definition
core.
of the word, what it means to be a dog man. That's Mr. Price.
He uses the dogs for what the dogs are meant to be used for. Ain't none of this fluffiness, ain't none of this softness. These is Boerboels, South African Boerboels, bred to do a job. He breeds his dogs to do a job.
That's right. He'll be back. If y'all don't know, that's the dog transporter, elite pet transportation. This guy is also a very honest man that you could be trusted. He's really Cordell. I couldn't never really put a value on what you bring to the table, but I would say that having somebody that you can give your dog to and that can be trusted, that is going to do the right thing. I mean, that's a big part of this. That, and I don't know what we would do, especially after they have outlawed dogs from flying on the airplanes and stuff. So yeah, Cordell, if y'all looking for reliable pet transport that is gonna get your dog there in a timely fashion, you will always be able to contact them.
Also, hey, we do it in style too. We do it in style. So we got minivans. Right now, I'm in a 2023 Tahoe, moving cross country. So it's always a classy situation. We move in style.
Yeah, and it's really, I like the fact that you can call Cordell at any time. He's gonna answer the phone. He's there with your dogs. Listen to the sounds that you hear in the background right now. You don't hear any dogs in distress, and you never do. We talk all the time. That's the type of transport that I love. When he comes around to pick your dog up, he don't even have dog hair in the truck. So that's a beautiful thing, and I really appreciate that, Cordell. Thank you so much. Elite Pet Transportation. If you want, I don't know if you want to say scream your number out 330-690 9993 6063 330 Elite Pet Transportation. Cordell just so happened to call Mr. Price.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Mr. Price.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he just so happened to call. Yeah, we got this dog meat thing that we putting together. But yeah, he just happened to call, and we was going back and forth, talking about the breeding operation and the dog transport and stuff. All right, Cordell, I'm gonna let you go now, bro. We're gonna get into this interview. If you get a chance, man, check us out. We on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
All right, we'll do, absolutely.
Okay, y'all. Cordell, Elite Pet Transport. So yeah, Mr. Price. Yeah, so
Okay.
tell him about that, man. Okay, can we say something, man? Go ahead, talk for a little while. Let me see if I can hear you.
Can you hear me loud and clear? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you coming in loud and clear now.
Okay,
Yeah.
good deal.
Copy
Good deal.
that. All right. So what I was saying though, Mr. Price, we met through through Facebook. You was catching so much static, man. You was catching a lot of pushback about what was it?
From so many different things, but it was mainly about about my dogs, where my dogs came from, the fact that I was health testing, DNA testing and health testing with my dogs. People were upset that I was part of the American Boerboel Club, and um, just it was a plethora of things that they found issues with, man. Um, who I got my dogs from. Um, People upset because I mean my puppies were selling. So it was just so it was so many things. What registry I was using, and just, but the main thing was, it made them uncomfortable what I was doing in my program.
Man, I don't know if that's your connection or mine, but we still catching feedback. You said it was what was the problem?
The
You
main
said
problem
you
was,
was who you got your dogs from.
mhm, the who where I got my dogs from, um, the health testing, DNA, genetic DNA testing, and OFA health testing, and that all was a problem. Um, the Kennel Club uh, recommends that the breeders do OFA health testing, and I was doing all the recommended health testing and more, and then some. Um, the fact that I was posting my dogs and puppies often, it offended a lot of people. Um, what registry I was using offended people. Uh, you know, it was just a plethora of things that a lot of breeders found problems with. And one thing that I realized, that you have to be true to yourself first, because people will have you jumping through people will have you jumping through all kinds of hoops for days, and they'll never be satisfied with how high you jump, or how long you run, or how long, how you last, or how you do what you do. So you've got to be true to you, you know. And then if you're doing that, being true to you, then there will be people who will appreciate that and come on board.
Yeah, I faced a lot of the same type of censorship, moderation. I don't know what it was about me at the time when I first started. It was like when I came in, I was posting my dog, and people had a problem with it. I told them that I hadn't even bred a dog yet, and I told them that I was gonna be having puppies. It was like, okay, well, go get your health test, and then you can come on here and post. You can't post your dog. You plan on breeding your dog until it's been health test. Can you hear me? Okay, did I break up?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so they say I go get the health test, then they I post the results or whatever. Now I'm out of off the moderation. It was just crazy the amount of scrutiny that I faced just by saying I'm going to be breeding this dog. This is my dog that I imported from Africa. Because at first, when I was trying to buy a dog, nobody wanted to sell me one. They wanted to come up with these outrageous prices and all of these contractual obligations. And I could just import. I brought me and my dog in from South Africa. So I feel your pain when what you was going through. And that's what kind of like made me feel like, hold on, let me really thoroughly investigate exactly what you was doing, because I didn't think anything that you was doing was wrong. I feel like really you're one of the top breeders when it comes in terms of health testing, the classic Boerboel, the functional Boerboel. You're one of the only people that I see that run 8, 9, 10, 15 dogs in the pack and got them working on the farm. How could they go against that? I don't understand. And then it's like, so what they do is on Facebook, they get a group of them together, a group of people together, and then they try to jump you, they try to exclude you. Talk about that for us,
That's exactly
Mr.
that's
Price.
exactly what
You,
happens. That's 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 it. They're like-minded people. You've often heard birds of a feather flock together. So like-minded people, they get together. Ones that may have a problem with me, and then they will start nitpicking about things, or they may ask you a question that seems to be uh, like with a hidden agenda, and it's just something about it that makes you feel a little awkward, like why would they ask me that, and then if you answer it, then come to find out, then one of the other little buddies will chime in, and then it'll go on and on and on. That's also where I realize that most of the pages are controlled by breeders, uh, and so when you say something that they don't like, or something, not, it doesn't necessarily uh, have to be a lie, but if you say something that they don't like, then they ban you from the page, or they refuse to uh, post your comments, or they block you for some reason, or
yeah,
if it's something,
it's censorship.
right, if it's something that they feel like will hurt your kennel or harm you, in taking money away from you, or taking, um, or something to decredit you, um, then they will post that.
Oh man, Mr.
But
Price, you
yeah,
breaking up real bad. You sitting by your Wi-Fi box. You sitting
yeah,
close by it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna keep on rolling despite. Um, yeah, they try to jump you, they try to discredit you, they try to tarnish your name. They want to make it seem like what you're saying is not factual, it doesn't make sense. I mean, they got
correct,
all different type of strategies to try to confuse the general public or the audience, right? It's a lot of people on Facebook that see this going on, and then they see 8, 9, 10 people going against what you're saying, and it's really just a matter of opinions. They don't have the facts. And that's
right,
my biggest problem in
right,
this censorship. You got to remember, okay, so everybody says, oh, we got the right of freedom of speech. This is America. We got freedom of speech. But this ain't just you on a private platform. So, yeah, this is America if we got freedom of speech. But when you come in my house, you can't just say anything. You got to watch your mouth.
that's
And
right,
that's the kind of thing, the way that way that it plays out on Facebook and the groups and stuff. So they tried to slaughter you. They tried to assassinate your character, and I got a problem with that. When I looked at everything that you're doing, I don't see nothing that you're doing wrong. You know,
right. Well, that's a
you got it.
that in itself is a problem for some people.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Right.
You breaking up. You breaking up, Mr. Price. Go ahead. You
Okay.
said it again.
I said that in itself is a problem for some people. The fact that they can't find anything wrong, then they make you out to be a liar. And my motto is, I always nothing to hide. My program is transparent. My hands are wide open and up in the air. Any questions, I don't mind sharing information with anyone that I can help. Um, the my dogs, I told the story of my dogs several times, how I acquired my dogs, and what I'm doing with my dogs, the reason for my dogs, um, and just trying to make a difference in the Boerboel community, and also mainly about people who've,
So
like
yeah, tell us
myself.
about that a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead, my fault. I
About
didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. I didn't know you said something.
about my dogs. Tell you about the dogs, or tell you
Yeah,
about
you were
what?
saying.
About okay.
Well, I was gonna ask, but
Go ahead.
how did you settle on the Boerboel, and then how does it fit into your lifestyle?
Okay.
Because when did you get your first? When did you get your first Boerboel?
I got my first Boerboels in 2018. They
20.
I settled on Boerboels because of the fact that uh, following a trucking accident, I used to drive trucks over the road for 18 years, and uh, I was involved in a trucking accident that crippled me, um, unable to walk, and had to have an emergency surgery, a multi-level fusion in my neck. Uh, I say it's a scaffold to hold my head up, but I had a multi-level fusion in my, and then had to learn how to walk all over again. So going through this process, it was a very dark period in my life for me, in my head where, I felt unable to care for my family at the level that I was, they were accustomed to having, and that I wanted to care for them. Um, and so the doctor recommended that I get a dog, a service dog that could help me with mobility and something through anxiety and depression as well. So I went on a search for dogs. I knew I had to have something big because of my size, and I wanted something big and strong dog. So I ran across the Boerboel, and I'm like, wow. And reading up on the standard of the dog and reading up on the history of the breed and all this, and I'm like, wow, this sounds like an impressive dog. And his temperament, everything about his temperament was just what I was looking for, what I would need in a dog, what I wanted and desired in a dog. And so I um, I went on the hunt for them. Talked with my wife about it. She was like, no, no, we're not going to spend that kind of money on a dog. We have never heard of anyone spending that kind of money on a dog. So she was like, nah, this that ain't gonna work. So me trying to figure out a plan of how we could make this happen. Um, I picked an argument with her uh, 2 nights before Christmas, uh, and I left in the middle of the night, um, because I had already been talking to a breeder, and so I left to go 8 hours up the road to find a breeder and get a puppy. But once I got there, and thinking that, hey, look, I've already uh, uh, in the hot water with my wife, I might as well get two instead of one. so so
Right.
that's what I did.
Might as well
You
go
know,
all the way.
yeah,
We might say, since I'm gonna be bad,
yeah.
I'm gonna
So
be in trouble. I might as well be worth
no doubt. And so, because I was like, God knows, I might not get a chance to get another one. You know what I'm saying? And so,
it.
and initially I had no intentions on breeding, even though I had bred 15 years prior. For 15 years I bred boxers, but after those boxers, I had no intentions of breeding, uh, because I know it's a lot of work. Um, but when I got back with the dogs, my wife, my boys fell in love with them. I was stupid in love with them, and thankful that I had gotten the temperament that I read about in the breed. You know what I'm saying? But then
Yeah.
I started finding
So
out,
you did
meeting people.
not tell us a little bit why you didn't go back to the boxer. What was it that made you switch to the Boerboel first the boxer?
A boxer is a more um, height playful dog all the time. Just they're like strung out on heightness all the time. You know what I'm saying? They always amped up, and so my body couldn't handle that type of uh dog at the time. You know what I'm saying? Uh, because with me, you know with mobility issues and things like that. So I had to have something that would be a little more calm and laid back. So,
Okay.
but I'm thankful for the breed for this breed, man, because it's amazing dogs. I mean, it's the love that temperament in a Boerboel is their love for their people. That's what drives them to do what they do. A lot of them, yeah, they're food motivated, but
Baby J. Shh.
most of them will do whatever you want to them to do just out of love. You know, the fact that you're gonna rub them and pet them, play with them, and they find pleasure in doing whatever pleases you. And I
Yeah, I don't know
truly
if you saw that. I don't know if you saw that interview with Mr. Being White, but that's part of what I practice with my dogs. The fact that they so much need that attention. They so much
right,
looking for your affection. They so
right,
much looking for you to praise them.
right.
And I think that's a beautiful thing because it's kind of like
It is.
how
It
with
is.
him, how he was looking for that approval, for that recognition from his father, the same way that the dogs look for the recognition
That's
from
right.
you. And
That's right.
so they constantly try to excel.
That's
They
right.
try to do better. They always
That's
trying to
right.
do more. They're trying to make you impress you. And it's a beautiful thing if you know how to control and manage it.
Right. But
Yeah.
if you're
So
not there on top of them all the time, that they will miss you and they will turn to aggression toward one another.
right, exactly. Yeah. So talk about that a little bit, Mr. Price. You got all of those dogs in the pack. How do you manage them from becoming aggressive with one another?
Well, spending time with them, because someone's always fighting for the alpha position. And
Uh-huh.
if you're alpha in your pack, and you should be, then everybody will listen to you. And if you're not there to call shots, then somebody's going to try to push the envelope. Um, and it just depends on who they're pushing to determine what the level of violence that they're going to respond with. You know, because some of the ones that's more easygoing and laid back uh, doesn't mean that they're soft. But then there's some that that are soft and they don't belong in the front of the pack. I think that was Ben also that said about that the in the wild how the weaker dogs wouldn't make it. They wouldn't survive because of the stronger dogs will weed them out. Do you
You
recall
said in the
that?
wild. Go
Uh,
back over that
uh,
again. You said in the
it said
wild what?
about how the in the wild the weaker dogs don't make it. If they've got some sort of health issue or
Yeah.
whatever, or just their temperament,
I
they don't.
find like I find I'm listening. Go ahead.
If they don't have the temperament to deliver a certain level of violence, then they will die. And so the pack will take them out because of the fact that this guy he's going to be the a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. You know what I'm saying? So if that
Right.
one dog is the link that will open the door for trouble to come in on us, we need to get rid of this dog. You see what I'm saying? And so
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's the mindset that they take. You'll see them when they're poking the weak dogs.
Yeah. And I see it with the puppies. I see it in
Hmm.
it's like what happens is okay, this dog is a little bit, he might even be a bigger dog. And what happens is they kind of like team up on him. It's like, man, what's up with you? You gotta get tough. You gotta get strong. All of this wimpy stuff, we're not gonna accept it. And if you continue to act this way, this is what you're gonna get. Ish, 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 ish. And they, bite them up and beat them up and just do all
Yeah.
kind of stuff until they decide I'm going to eat, or they won't eat. They get hungry. The other dogs won't allow them to eat until they say, I'm gonna eat today. Y'all ain't gonna just keep taking all the food. And
Right.
it brings something out of the dog, that
Right.
hunger, that
Right.
time that they constantly being messed with, and I done seen it turn
It's
mild,
survival.
timid dogs into stone cold savages.
Yeah,
It lets once that dog feels that he's got strength, once it wakes up something in his mind that he's got
right,
power, that he can defend himself,
right.
you get a whole nother level of dog. And I think that's the beauty of the pack. And you won't
It
get that
is.
locking no
It
dog
is.
up. Locking no dog up. You ain't gonna get that locking the dog up on the isolated side. It takes a village. And in
It
dogs, it
does.
takes a pack.
It does. It was this last litter of puppies that I had. They really they changed the game. Uh, they formed a pack real early. As a matter of fact, when they were
Okay.
much younger, they attacked one of my bigger puppies, a year-old puppy, and almost put his eye out. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, they was a little. That's a little wild little bunch, man. So they were definitely interesting. I learned a
Now, what
lot from
litter
that.
was that?
The this last one that I had, they were
What
born in
litter?
uh November of no November the 6th of last year, and then it was actually 19 puppies. So it was two litters.
Wow.
So the one was Nandy and Biko was the first litter. They were born on the 30th of uh, of October, and then the Bishop and Flo. Uh, those puppies were born on the 6th of November. And so because they were so close together, I kept them together a lot, but that was, yeah, that little pack right there, buddy. They were a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, you said that. Say that last part again. You was breaking up.
I said that pack right there was a force to be reckoned with. They were
Oh yeah,
they
that
were all over the
19.
place.
How
Yeah,
many? Yeah, I see you had some pie balls there. You had some deep reds. I
yeah.
see the dogs. You open up the thing. They jumping out of 4 foot over the 4 foot. They don't even wait for you to open up the pie ball.
No, no.
They just start flying out of there.
Yeah, yeah. But before all of
Yeah,
that,
eight,
man,
9 dogs,
in
man.
in
And
the
listen,
back
to
in the
me, it's a
back of the
beautiful thing to see. I hear them always talking about the dog's supposed to be able to jump on the back of the truck. Your dog is one of the only dogs that I see jumping on the back of the truck. Talk about that, Mr. Price. So,
well,
the role of a healthy and athletic dog. How much of a is that? How important is that to you?
it's extremely important. Um, the I want a dog that can do the job that it was bred to do, um, which is protect family and property. Um, these dogs, their love for you is what drives them to all edges. You know what I'm saying? And over the cliff if it takes it. Um, so
Right.
it for this dog have to be athletic to be able to face some of the challenges in life that people in the African bush face, and even now, every day now, certain people in to protect their homes, their families, their children. You see where children are being taken, abducted from their homes or out of parks and stuff like that. Well, if that child got the right dog with them, nope, that's not going to happen. Because that dog is going to pick up
Right. That's
on
no longer a
on
threat.
something that don't belong
And
there.
I like to highlight. Go ahead, my fault. I didn't know you were still talking.
Yeah, that dog is going to pick up on something that doesn't belong there quickly, and ready to deal with that threat, no matter at what level it is, and whatever level of threat it is, that's the level of violence they will respond with.
Right. And I think another way that I interpret what you're saying, what you're visualizing and seeing is the intensity. I talk about intensity, because the Boerboel is so intense and it can surprise you. Most people are expecting the dog to kind of like, nip at it a little bit of it. No, when the Boerboel gets intense, when they turn on, the level is so high. I think
Right.
that's part of their strength. It's like a Tasmanian devil, that intensity.
Right.
That's another way. I mean, so when you hear me talk about that, I think it's the same thing. That it's the authority that they take control of a situation, and it just an asset, it's a virtue of the breed, the
Yeah. No doubt.
intelligence. Um, you talk about surviving in the bush, and then the isolation. They're far away. I'm talking about the people and the dogs. They're not so. When you talk about the isolation in the bush, the therapy. When you first got your dog, when you finally got your dog, and you was going through the depression, walk us through your feelings. How did that aid you, assist you, and what did it do for you when you got your
Okay.
dogs? Because
All
the
right.
big part of them for me is therapy.
Well, these dogs, they want for one, they want to please you. So they're always watching you. Their eyes are always on you. They they don't run off like most dogs would when they're off leash, take off running down away chasing other stuff or whatever, birds or butterflies or whatever. These dogs are, it's like nothing else matters other than you. So this dog is always watching you. So it's basically reading you. So if you're feeling up or down, or that's important to the dog. And a lot of times, if notice if you feeling a little off, well, that dog is coming in and giving you love, and then you just imagine two or more of them all coming in with that same love. I mean, I've had mine turn over my recliner with me in it, trying to all everybody trying to climb into my lap. Um, they want to. If you lay down on the floor with them, they'll come and lay right beside you and up against you, or always got to touch you. They're put their paw on you, or something, or they're up leaning on you or up against you. But it's like they want to be right there where you are. So,
Uh-huh.
and when people are struggling in their head, uh, I don't care who you are. Everybody, from no matter how old you are, how big you are, how small you are, how angry or upset or the meanest person in the world. Everybody wants one thing, and that's to be loved. Everybody, I don't care who they are. Everybody wants to be loved by somebody. And so it's that
Right.
love that that pulls you through. You know, and with them, the need to have to care for them, they can't care for themselves, so it gets you up off your can to go do stuff with them, and becoming more actively involved with the dog, and which builds a greater bond between you and that dog or dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's huge for me. It's huge
Yeah.
for me having to do things, having to be there for my dogs. I don't know what else I would do. That it gives me a sense of satisfaction
Right.
and accomplishment. Once I've
Right.
completed all of my chores for the day with my dogs, and that I was able to get them outside. They didn't use the bathroom in the house, sit them, so on and so forth. And then the ultimate icing on the cake is when I finally show up somewhere, or if I posted my dogs up on there and they looking so good. Ah, and then people see them, and then it's like I did what I was supposed to do. That dog is representing me well,
Yeah.
and
No
this
doubt.
is the type of person, the individual that I am. It says a lot about it, and I just think that it's a beautiful thing. I really want to just give you some recognition, Mr. Price, for having your dogs in the natural way, the natural setting on the farm, involved with your family, with your boys, and you're doing. I think that you is a model example of a Boerboel breeder and a dog breeder. You get your dogs are true to form. You bred them true to standard. You breeding them, based off of the original standard. You don't go for fads. You just picked up a new stud dog. Tell us about your selection criteria. Why did you
Well,
pick the dog that you did?
okay. This dog, he's I met his owner first, who told me about him.
Oh,
Go ahead.
you breaking up. You breaking up. You said, did this dog what?
He's seven. He's actually 7 years old. Um, he's his dad is a retired special force operator. The guy, he runs five
Hold on, you
miles a
said
day. The dog
his
runs
dad
five
what?
miles a day. Huh?
You said his dad was what?
He runs 5 miles a day. He runs
The
the guy.
actual dog that you just picked up is
Yeah,
running
yeah,
5 miles.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he doesn't live with me now. He lives with his owner.
Okay.
But I'm
Hmm.
bringing him, making him part of my breeding program.
Okay,
The owner runs with the dog 5 miles a day. Um, he's a retired special force operator um, in the army. So they're very active. The dog's very active, and to be 7 years old, he hasn't been sick. Doesn't have any hip or elbow issues or things like that. Uh, he showed an allergy before with the chicken flavored kibble, but so they don't feed him that. But he's a very big, he's a nice built muscular boy that's very active, and to be 7 years old and still active like that, I want to try to capture that athleticism and that longevity. Um,
right.
I've got a couple of girls that compliments him well. Um, so and I'm getting ready to do a breeding with him, maybe more, but to see what we get. But I definitely he comes from Dynasty Blue Ridge Kennels. Was actually the guy's name John Blackwell that owned the dog, the two dogs, the parent dogs, and bred them and produced this puppy. But both of those dogs came from Dynasty, and I had a chance to meet that young lady or talk with her for the first time ever. Very, very knowledgeable young lady about breeding and about the
Yeah,
Boerboel breed
you
itself.
talking about you got a chance to meet with who? We didn't hear
The
that.
young Keisha, the young lady that owns Dynasty Blue Ridge Boerboels.
Hmm. She used to be in Ohio.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Hmm.
she's done a great job in the program, and I told her I admire what she's done. A lot of dogs that has come from her kennel have lived long, successful lives. Some even up to like 14 and 15 years. And even with this dog, he being 7 years old and still is active like that. And I'm like, wow, that's something that you want to capture in your breeding program. With all the issues going on with these dogs, man. You think I look at it like this right here. I know that I needed my dogs to help me, more than just protection. They need to help me through my day to day. So to get a dog and it dies early, I would feel shortchanged. I would be angry, upset. You know, it's like you can't control it, but there are some things uh, that that me as a breeder, I want to do as much as I possibly can to ensure the longevity of my dogs and their job with their family, to love their family and care for their family. So um,
Yeah. It definitely make you think twice because I just lost my boy Balto.
I know that's
And
painful.
I noticed that it's not just me though. I see Fit Bully.
Yes.
I listened to Caesar Milan. Caesar Milan talked about one of his dogs got
Yeah.
cancer.
Yeah.
Um, I was listening to one of the dog trainers was talking about how he hasn't been on because he just recently lost a dog.
Yeah. It's a
It was
setback,
actually
brother.
two dog trainers. It's a major setback. You
Yeah.
haven't lost none of yours yet,
No. Well,
right?
yeah, I have, but it wasn't to
No,
it wasn't to it wasn't to a sickness. It was, because I got
yeah,
one of my
I
boys a
mean,
knucklehead.
your starters though, the dog, your
No, no,
original
no,
ones.
no, no.
Yeah.
No.
It's a difficult thing to deal with. Mr. Price, we're having a bunch of technical difficulties. You got time? We can do, let's get back into this conversation because I want everybody to get. I don't want them to miss not a word or a syllable or a sound. I want to make sure everybody getting everything that we dropping off. You available a little bit later? I don't know what we need to do, but I'm gonna do some troubleshooting on my end. You got time? I wanted to get you back on here, and maybe we can work out some of these issues, and we'll be able to come in loud and clear. You got
Okay,
time
brother.
later though?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
we keep
Just,
freezing. We keep freezing up. How about 5 o'clock?
okay. Okay.
You got, is that good? 5 o'clock.
That'll be cool.
All right. So we're gonna check back in, board buddies, at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna jump off right now. We're gonna work on our technical difficulties, but stay tuned because we got some really inside perspectives that you won't be able to get nowhere else. Mr. Price is doing it right. All right. And Mr. Price is doing it the right way. And we're going to explain. I think that it's really important that we highlight the fact that you went for longevity, the fact that your dog that you picked is not a 250 pounder, the fact that he's running 5 miles. I want to explore that some more, talk about that some more.
Awesome.
But right now I got to go. But we gonna catch you back in, man. I appreciate you. 5 o'clock, y'all. We're gonna work out our technical difficulties and get this thing situated the right way.